probably should have been following more closely in my notes, shouldn't I? Welcome to Stargazing, a Stargate gazing podcast. I'm your host, Mary.
And I'm your other host, Kathy.
And each week we review an episode of Stargate alternating between SG-1 and Atlantis. Hello.
How are we doing?
Okay, how are you?
I'm doing okay as well.
Too much work, not enough time, but otherwise all right.
I hear that. Boo.
Indeed.
Is it grading that is consuming you?
Writing new exams first, and then I had to make an exam review, and I have to record a exam review video after this, and then I have a bunch of labs to grade also.
Yippee!
Good times.
Indeed.
Good times.
So good.
Yeah, that's what I've been busy with. How about you?
Work, cat, stuff. I feel like I've been doing other things, but I cannot tell you what they are because my brain is just shot. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's great.
It's very convincing. Yep. The more you say it, the more I'll believe it.
That's why I keep saying it. I really want to reassure you that everything's great all the time.
Yeah, it's really helping a lot. Are you trying to convince me or yourself?
Trying to convince the world that everything is fine. Because the world is fine too.
No, it's not. It's really not.
Yeah. So, I don't have anything fun to talk about.
Yeah, I don't really either. Yeah, no, I got nothing.
Oh, what are you doing for your birthday that's coming up?
That is part of why I'm so busy, actually, because I am trying to get a bunch of work done so that I can take Thursday and Friday off.
Ooh.
We're heading up to Vermont.
Yay!
For the weekend. Just to get away for a few days. And I refuse to do... I actually have several meetings on my birthday itself, which is very annoying. But aside from those meetings, I have no intention of doing any actual work, which is why I'm trying to get these exams and videos and stuff recorded today, because I'm not going to have time tomorrow. And then the day after that is my birthday, so I'm not doing them then. And then the day after that, they have to actually be posted for the students. Yeah. Yeah. So
Are the puppies going with you?
Puppies are going with us.
Yay.
Yes. And it will be nice to just be away. And Vermont should be really nice this year as far as leaf color goes.
Excellent.
This time of year.
Yeah, we're starting to get color now.
Yeah, just starting, but should be pretty far along up there.
Awesome. Well, that'll be so fun. When do we get to celebrate your birthday?
I don't know.
Next week? Question mark? I don't know.
Probably. I think so. I've got plans for my sister's birthday that weekend, and also, but yeah, good times. So Friday, I might be going with you guys to the campfire thing, fire pit, whatever, if you're going to that, but I don't know. It's going to depend on how I feel.
I think I said I was in. Yeah.
I don't remember. So anyway, to answer your question, yes, probably. I think probably next week.
Yay.
Works. To pick up right where we left off. Hopefully. Yeah.
Nice.
So tentatively that weekend. That would be good.
All right. Good.
You know who else is getting older? Even faster than I am.
Who's that?
Sheppard.
Oh, yes. He sure did get old.
Quite rapidly.
Indeed.
Yes. That is apparently what happens when a wraith feeds on you.
Yes. But not to the point of death.
Indeed. Yes. What is this episode that we are talking about?
This is Stargate Atlantis Season 3, Episode 7, Common Ground.
That makes me think of a place where you would get coffee. I don't know why. It just makes me think it should be a coffee shop.
There are, in fact, coffee shops in New Haven called Common Grounds.
Okay, that's where I got that from. I'm like, isn't that a... Yeah,
They took over the blue states, and they're bad.
Oh, are they?
I don't like them. I don't like their coffee. I don't like their ambiance. I don't like their pastries. Nothing about them is good. I never thought I would miss Blue State, but I do.
I didn't know Blue State closed.
They did. The people who owned it decided they were just done with it. It sounded like
That's
from
fair.
what I was reading. So they sold the businesses to the Common Grounds people.
But that's sad that a worse place went in there.
Agreed. I'm like, they're like, I go in there and there's like heart pounding music. I'm like, do you not want people studying in here? What's going on?
Yeah,
Is this a coffee shop?
Coffee shop vibe.
Adjacent to a college. Like, what?
Yeah. That's weird.
Very weird.
People like to go in and, yeah, like you said, study, or I would do homework and grading and stuff. Yeah.
But very, very weird. Yeah.
This has nothing to do with coffee, though.
It does not. No coffee.
Coffee would probably help him feel a little better, maybe.
Maybe. I mean, it makes me feel better just drinking coffee.
Same. I love coffee.
The sound of the coffee maker going or the act of buying a coffee, all of those things I love.
The sound of beans grinding makes me happy every morning.
Me too.
Now I want coffee, even though it's 7:15 in the evening.
It is too late for coffee for me.
Same, but I kind of want some. I guess it'll have to wait until tomorrow.
But now you've got that to look forward to.
It's true. It's true. But between now and then, podcast.
We start with a firefight.
We do.
Team Shart is running away and exchanging fire with an enemy we don't immediately see. Or at least we don't immediately recognize who they are. The team is trying to make their way to the Stargate. Rodney and Taylor make it to the DHD. Rodney dials. They go through. Sheppard and Ronan are following behind. However, just as they're about to go through the Stargate, Sheppard's harpooned in the back.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was very weird. I guess effective from keeping you from going through a Stargate, but...
True. I don't think it actually made it through to the skin, but it very effectively grabbed onto his flak jacket and kept him from running through the gate.
Yeah.
It looked painful when he jerked back when he reached the end of the tether.
Indeed. And it turns out the people they were fighting with were Janai. And not just any Janai, Kolya and his allies.
I thought we were done with them.
Clearly he didn't die last time we saw him, so not done.
Yeah. Wasn't he in an exploding building or something like that to make us think he died? I don't actually remember what happened with him.
I can't recall. It seemed like there were multiple occasions where you think he's dead or you're not sure about his fate.
He's kind of like Daniel in that he keeps coming back even when you don't want him to.
Indeed. Although he sucks, I'm not sad he was back because it gave us this episode, which I did enjoy. So,
oh, well, that's good.
Yeah. That brings us to credits. Kolya greeting Sheppard.
Yeah, it was a pretty short opening.
Indeed.
After credits, we're in the gate room. This is sometime later. We don't know exactly when. There is a big team of people coming through the incoming wormhole, and they're followed last by Taylor, Rodney, and Ronan. Everybody has been off searching for Sheppard since he never made it through the gate with them when they returned to Atlantis earlier. And it seems like whoever took him also covered their tracks very well, and there doesn't seem to be any sign of them or where they might have gone. Rodney has his handy-dandy laptop with him and has conveniently downloaded the last 50 or so addresses that were dialed. So hopefully that will help narrow it down a bit. I hope it gives a timestamp of when they were dialed, too, because that will help narrow it down even more. Otherwise, that seems like a pretty big search.
I think they've established that they don't. Like, it's kind of random.
Oh. Well, that's annoying.
But also then how does he know it's the last 50? But whatever. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then in that case, why would he download the last 50 instead of like the last,
I don't know,
5 or 10? That's
maybe
weird.
I'm misremembering, but
that's weird.
Yeah.
Apparently they had received a transmission from the Janai, and it was a transmission using the code that Atlantis gave to the Janai now that they've got an alliance with them.
It's an older code, sir, but it checks out.
So they're going to use the Janai as their starting point for this whole thing and check in with them to see what the hell's going on. Rodney sarcastically asks, what are you going to do? Ask if they took him? And Dr. Weir says, yes. Rodney seems surprised and confused by that answer, and then even more surprised when the Stargate starts lighting up for an incoming wormhole, and he's like, oh, is that? Weir says, yes, it's them. Chuck Nishan tells everybody what we already know, but I'm going to mention him anyway because I love Chuck Nishan. There's an incoming wormhole. And some Janai come through along with Layden, who is, if anyone doesn't remember, the leader of the Janai now that Kolya and Chief O'Brien have been displaced. I think it's Chief O'Brien that was in the exploding building.
Yes.
I was thinking of. Okay.
He definitely was in an exploding building. That does not discount Kolya being in one.
True. This is true. Ronan immediately goes over and furiously asks what they've done with Sheppard, but Dr. Weir gently reminds him that these are their guests and also she's the one in charge. Layden just wants to know how he can help.
I feel like Ronan was using his guest threatening because he didn't pull his gun.
This is true.
Normally that gun would be right in Layden's face.
True. Yeah. Guest threatening is much more polite than regular threatening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It just involves standing over people intimidatingly.
He is very tall.
He is.
And I was wondering how tall the person that plays Layden is, because he really did just tower over the guy playing Layden.
I didn't check.
I didn't either. I know that Jason Momoa is like a good 6'4" or something like that, maybe even a bit more. So
Yeah.
he could still be totally normal height and have Ronan towering over him.
Very true. Then we're with Sheppard, who has been put in a prison cell. He's yelling out into the void. Anybody! To Kolya, who is not there to listen. He's like, remember how I didn't kill you? You promised me points for that. But Kolya does not answer.
Every time that I greet someone I haven't seen in a while, from now on, I'm going to say, remember how I didn't kill you last time? And see if they give me any points for it.
That seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see what could go wrong with that plan. Maybe I'll get some candy or something.
Maybe.
Maybe even a beer.
Ooh. All kinds of possibilities.
Or some money. There's all kinds of things I feel like this could lead to.
He now regrets not killing Kolya. Then you hear from another cell in this prison a raspy voice telling Sheppard he's wasting his breath and that there is no escape.
This had some very strong Aladdin talking to the creepy old man in the dungeon vibes for me.
That's exactly what I wrote down too.
Excellent. Glad we're on the same page.
Except for this guy is not trying to get Aladdin to escape. He's telling Sheppard there's no hope and don't bother trying to escape.
Yes.
Sheppard is not deterred, though. He's like, this prison won't stop me. He asks the prisoner, who we don't see. He is shrouded in shadow.
Right.
And they are very carefully not showing the prisoner at all.
Yeah. He just sounds raspy and old.
Yes. And he says he has been there many years. So long it no longer matters, he says. So seems like a long time.
Indeed.
Sheppard asks what he's in for, and the other prisoner says he allowed himself to be captured alive. That's it. Sheppard's like, me too. And don't worry, my friends are coming for me, and maybe we can get out of here. He's cut off, though, in his reassurance and attempts to make a plan by some guards coming in to pull him out of his cell. They open the cell and point a giant gun at him. He smarts off at them, so they fire a blast right past his head into the wall behind. I did notice the wall is very thick. It did not go all the way through.
No.
The guards tell him that Kolya insists on seeing him. They go to escort him out of there, but then they knock him out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And take him off. I don't know
why they needed to do that. Who knows?
Maybe they just needed to get their exercise in, and they thought carrying around this dead weight would be a great way to do that while on the job.
Be. Yeah.
Just
could be. Heavy carries are a good workout.
Yeah, multitasking right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Sometime later, we are back in Atlantis in the gate room, and all of the people that came over from the Janai planet are there, with Layden, of course. Dr. Weir says she's sorry that it's necessary, but they are disarming him and all of his people just to be on the safe side. Layden is a bit skeptical and says that he came here as a friend and he hopes to leave as one, and Dr. Weir assures him that, yep, that is for sure going to happen, but we still don't want you wandering around armed on Atlantis, which makes sense.
Yes.
Although it is kind of funny, though, because they go so many places and expect to be able to keep their firearms and get all indignant when their firearms are taken away.
Also true.
And then they do the same thing to other people. You'd think they'd be more understanding when other people want them to disarm. But here we are. They tell Layden that they appreciate his concern for Colonel Sheppard, but then Rodney blames him and his incompetence for leading to Sheppard's capture because it was definitely his code that they provided specifically to Layden and his good guy Janai. I guess. That was used when the people dialed in from that planet where the team got ambushed. So somebody got the code, used it to send a fake call for help, and that is what they were checking out when Sheppard got tricked. Layden says that they feel very badly that he allowed them to be stolen from them. That seemed like a weird way to word it.
Yeah.
He actually had a very weird way of wording a number of different things, because in the next bit he says, I say this rhetorically since I think it should be obvious, but if I were involved in this in any way, would I have come to Atlantis? And it just seemed to me to be really weird to preface a rhetorical question with the blatant statement of, this is a rhetorical question I'm about to ask that has an obvious answer. It just was weird to me. And I was like, what? Why do you talk like this? What's wrong with you?
So me think, why waste time? Say lot word when few word do trick.
So he reminds them that he has left his significant responsibilities as the leader of his entire people to come and help them, only to end up being berated for a mistake once he got here. I mean, it's a pretty big mistake, though,
Indeed.
that he made. He was really trying to downplay the fact that his code was stolen, but it is a big deal, and it could have gone even worse than it did.
Yeah.
If they were trying to get through with like a whole army or whatever, instead of just luring them to a different planet. Layden doesn't think that he should stay there anymore if this is how he's going to be treated, but Ronan says that you're not going anywhere. And Dr. Weir tells him to back down, behave, Ronan, but then also pretty much says, you're not going anywhere. Let's go talk in my office.
Yeah, just saying the same thing.
Yep, but just much more politely.
Yeah. Then we are with Kolya and Sheppard. Sheppard's been tied to a chair, and there's some sort of camera device there. It looks like a TV camera type thing, like in a TV studio type, but old-timey because it's the Janai.
Indeed.
Yeah. Sheppard compliments him on his harpoon and says that Kolya must have really missed him to go to all this trouble. And Kolya compliments him back, and he's like, to capture an extraordinary soldier takes extraordinary measures. Aw.
So nice. They're being so nice to each other.
They are. Just for a moment, though.
Yes.
Kolya claims this isn't personal, but if it were not personal, he could have literally captured anybody. It's a little personal.
Yeah.
But he says as soon as his goal is achieved, Sheppard can go back to Atlantis. Sheppard asks, well, then what do you want? And Kolya says, it's not what I want. It's a question of who. ...
But we don't find out yet, because next we're in Dr. Weir's office with Layden. He entrusted the IDC codes to a couple of people in his government, one of whom was his second minister, so that in the event of his death, the codes wouldn't be completely lost. And then he also trusted them to his personal assistant. And apparently that was a mistake, because even though he had trusted them implicitly, as he clarified, that was obviously some misplaced trust.
That's interesting, the Janai, because they do come across as very untrustworthy people generally, with all the backstabbing they do.
They do.
But why would you trust any of your own people?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess you have to have some friends.
I guess. Do you?
I don't know.
Friends are overrated.
It can't be like the Romulan ship in Lower Decks, where they're just always planning their next betrayal.
True, I suppose. Weir asks if both people are accounted for currently, and Layden says, yes, they're both in custody, and they are being questioned, but there's no answers just yet. Layden tells her to not underestimate how important this alliance is to him, and also to the people of Atlantis, for that matter. And his first concern when he heard the news was, we don't find out what, because Chucknician tells them yet again that there's an unscheduled off-world activation.
So they head to the control room to find out what this is all about. Rodney is also there at the station with Chucknician. Rodney says they're getting an analog video signal, but no IDC. So Weir tells him to bring it up, and we got a video image of Kolya, who asks Dr. Weir to respond. Ronan's like, who the hell is he? So Tayla explains who he is. In case anyone else forget, Janai military leader who once tried to seize Atlantis. And Layden used to be one of him.
Yes, and almost succeeded.
Yes.
Actually kind of did succeed, at least temporarily.
Yeah. They don't respond right away, so Kolya does tell them he knows they're there and that Atlantis is not a secret to the Janai. So just answer. So Weir's like, fine, this is Dr. Weir.
No, this is Patrick.
Kolya says, good, I want to be certain you see this. And we see in the background as he moves away from the camera, Sheppard tied to that chair and gagged. He assures Rodney that he has not done anything to Sheppard. And Rodney's like, what are you going to do to him? Kolya says he wants to make a trade. But Weir wants to talk to Sheppard before that happens, make sure he's okay. Rodney again insists they rephrase that. They want to hear Sheppard talk. So Kolya, for a moment, has the gag removed from Sheppard's mouth, where Sheppard starts shouting not to do whatever Kolya asks for. They put the gag back on, and Kolya is like, you see, he's fine. It's great. Then Kolya says, I know that Layden is there. He needs to preserve his precious alliance with you. And his sources have actually confirmed that Layden is there, so don't bother denying it. Again, you can't pretend Atlantis doesn't exist. You can't pretend Layden's not there. Give me Layden and I will give you Sheppard. It's great. A 1-to-1 trade. Weir asks for time to consider this. And Kolya says, I'm going to help expedite your decision. And then we see more guards bringing a Wraith in to the room.
Great.
The Wraith is in change. Seems very unsteady.
In change?
In change. Yes. He's just walking around in a pile of coins.
That sounds fun,
Yeah.
but also cumbersome.
Yes. The Wraith is in chains and seems pretty unsteady on his feet. We flip back to the actual room from the camera view of it that Atlantis folks are seeing. They move the Wraith closer to him. Rodney pleads with Kolya not to do this. Sheppard could have just let you rot in that hole. Oh yeah, they did leave him in a hole. Kolya says no one deserves this. However, they do proceed. Kolya gives Dr. Weir one more chance. Do we have an arrangement? But no. So they let the Wraith feed on Sheppard. Just for a little while, though, and they do shock the Wraith to stop him from feeding further. We do see Sheppard's gotten a little bit older. Just a bit. He's got
Just a touch.
got some gray hair and some more lines.
Well, you're terrifically old.
A little bit more wizened.
Yeah. Weir tells Kolya he has crossed a line. Kolya is unfazed by this and just goes on to say that they've found a minimum of 3 hours between feeding sessions is crucial to ensure the body has time to recover from the trauma, which made me think, my God, how many people has he fed this to this Wraith to test this shit out?
It's been a number of years. I suppose it's probably been a lot of people, unfortunately.
And so he tells her they have 3 hours to make this decision to make the trade before this Wraith will feed on Sheppard again. End of conversation. It's not great.
It is not. It's not seeming so great for Sheppard. Sometime later, Sheppard is back in his cell and he's not looking so great. He's just a little bit out of it. The prisoner that he talked to before calls to him and says, they called you Sheppard. And Sheppard says, yep, that would be my name. The guy asks if he's in pain, and Sheppard says, yes, he's in a lot of pain. He was fed on by a Wraith. But the prisoner wouldn't know, because it's never been his experience. He has not been fed on by a Wraith. Sheppard didn't think anything could hurt that much, and the prisoner says, well, you're still alive, so it's fine, basically. Sheppard doesn't know how many years the thing took off of his life, as he refers to the Wraith, but he's very glad that Kolya's men pulled him off. The prisoner asks if he blames the Wraith or the master that was controlling the Wraith, and Sheppard is gonna go with both. The prisoner, though, on the other side of the wall tells him that there is a difference because the Wraith just needs to eat something in order to live. So if the Wraith was feeding on him, it was just to preserve its own self versus the people that were sicking the Wraith on him that were just basically doing it for torture. So aren't the masters there a bit more evil than the prisoner that they were sicking on Sheppard? And then Sheppard realizes, hey, wait, you said you heard them call me Sheppard. And that is when we see the prisoner next door step out of the shadows. And it is, of course, that Wraith.
Oh my God.
Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
And he says that, yes, I heard them call you that just before I started to feed. And I didn't know how it was that Sheppard made it through that whole scene without realizing it. Because as soon as I heard him speak at the beginning, I was like, oh, hey, that's the Wraith. And then I was like, why is he continuing to talk like he doesn't realize that's the Wraith? Oh, he doesn't realize that's the Wraith. I see.
Then we're in Atlantis. Layden is meeting with Weir and the rest of the team. They're hanging out in the conference room. He's explaining a little bit about Kolya, that they only see him as the monster who tried to take their city. And Weir's like, he also killed some of our people. And Taylor adds, would have killed Dr. Weir. So yeah, it's not just that. Layden says that they were soldiers under Cowan's orders, and the failure to keep Atlantis once they captured it ruined Kolya among the Janai, and he was forced out of Cowan's inner circle.
So sad for him.
It was. Layden got to stay because he knows science.
Science is good, see?
Yeah.
You get to go places and be important when you know science.
Yep.
Everyone should know science. Especially the people running this country should definitely know science.
They should definitely know science.
They do not know science. Even the people that should be knowing science because they are in charge of scientific departments do not know science.
Nope.
Anyway.
Layden says that before Kolya went completely underground, he did hear some plans he was maybe thinking about overthrowing Cowan. And Layden's like, well, that sounds like a good idea, but I don't like Kolya any more than Cowan as the leader of the Janai, so why not me?
Right.
Yeah.
Seems fair to me.
Kolya thinks he stole his idea and stole his position. So Kolya is super mad at Layden.
Yeah, it seemed like a pretty stupid take that because he did coup better than I did, he stole the leadership position from me. That's a weird stance to take.
Kolya needed to write down his idea and mail it to himself to prove that he had it before Layden.
Yes, that does not actually hold up in court.
No.
And is completely not true that you can gain yourself a copyright that day, but a lot of people believe it.
Clearly, they all know that Layden has some problems with loyalty in his inner circle, so he's going to work on that. He says he's going to find the traitors. And Ronan's like, sounds like you're the traitor to me. Layden does not like Ronan being all up in his business still.
That's not unreasonable that he wouldn't appreciate how Ronan is treating him.
Weir, though, says she's glad he's here the more she hears. Layden is like, I told you the truth. I could have made something up. So if you decide to make this trade, you're gonna be planting the seeds of civil war among my people. Does that sound like something you want to do? Ronan says, who cares? Let's get Sheppard back. Let them fight it out themselves. But they're like, no, we can't do that. Ronan wants to know why, and Taylor says, because Sheppard already ordered us not to. Which is funny, because Weir's actually in charge, but okay.
Yes. But also, if Kolya was in charge, that would be way worse for them than having Layden in charge.
Yes.
So that is also why they can't make that trade.
Absolutely.
Back in the Janai cell, Sheppard is very upset and pacing around in his cell. The Wraith tells him that anger's only going to weaken him even more. Sheppard doesn't believe that. The Wraith points out that they are both being tortured, but Sheppard doesn't see how the Wraith is being tortured because he's the one that got to feed on Sheppard. But the Wraith points out that, yeah, I've been here forever and it might not look like it, but I've been starving and this is basically burning me alive from the inside out, this feeling of constant hunger. And I took so little from you that I'm still dying anyway. So just because I did feed on you doesn't mean I'm not being tortured either. So maybe get over yourself at least a little bit, Sheppard, and see something from someone else's perspective. It was essentially the entirety of the Wraith's argument. The strength he gained from feeding on Sheppard's already fading anyway. There you are cursing that I took years from you, but I'm sitting here cursing that they didn't let me take all of your years. Sheppard doesn't like any of the things that he is hearing, of course. And tells the Wraith, I'm not in the mood for conversation right now anyway. So just shut up. The Wraith tells him that these are Sheppard's last few hours, so sure, if you want to spend them in silence, that's fine. We don't have to talk. But Sheppard says he's going to get out of there because he's got a life to get back to and things to do, and he is definitely not going to die in this place at this Wraith's hand by way of Janai or any other way today here. And he's got friends that are going to come and get him. And this Wraith is like, yep, keep believing that. Right up until the next time I feed on you and kill you.
They're best friends.
Yep, they're getting along well.
So well. On Atlantis, Beckett has gone to see Weir. He wants Weir to make sure if she decides to make this trade to do it before the next feeding because Wraith feedings are bad for people.
Yeah, who knew?
And he doesn't know how much that Sheppard will be able to take, even as strong as he is. Weir asks if he can recover from these feedings, and Beckett's like, we still don't know a lot about the feeding process, and his chance of survival diminishes every time he's fed upon. So, bad. Then Rodney runs in and says they've got a match. They cross-reference the list of gate addresses they had with information Layton gave them, and they've got a place to go try to find Sheppard, so they're going to go do that.
Woo!
Yay!
Sometime later in the gate room, Rodney, Taylor, and Ronan, and Beckett, for that matter, are all there. Everybody's getting ready to go. Rodney's taking charge and trying to give everyone a motivational talk here about doing this one by the numbers and getting in, getting their man, and getting out and stay alive and all of that. Beckett asks what he's on about, and Rodney's like, Sheppard's not here to give us a pep talk. I thought I should. I thought it was a
Yes.
Taylor kindly tells him, well said. And then Ronan just kind of rolls his eyes and tells everyone to stay behind him. So they're going to. And I guess she doesn't really wish them luck. She says, just bring him back. So you could have wished them luck, Weir. You could have wished them luck, Weir.
She could.
But she didn't.
No.
Yeah. Sometime later in the camera room, Sheppard is back in there again. Kolya's got him tied up yet again. Sheppard tells Kolya, I thought this wasn't personal. Kolya said that he would have taken anybody. He could have taken Rodney, but then he would have to listen to Rodney whining and crying. So he's glad that it ended up being Sheppard, but he would have taken either one. He just wanted somebody that was of relative value so that Dr. Weir would be sympathetic enough to maybe make the trade. Sheppard thinks that Kolya underestimates her, but Kolya thinks that he underestimates how sympathetic Dr. Weir actually can be. And so he really is pretty sure that they are going to end up doing the trade eventually anyway. Because it's either that or storm Atlantis by force. Sheppard laughs at that and says, you've got like 6 guys and a starving Wraith. So yeah, sure, go for it. That's going to work out super well for you if you try to storm Atlantis with that as your force. Kolya doesn't have any retort for that other than that Layton is his and there's no point in trying to protect him. And this is when he does go on to say that he was the one that was supposed to overthrow Cowan. And then Layton just did it better, and that's not fair that he cooed better than I did.
Yeah.
It should have been mine, because I had the idea first.
Stamping his foot on the ground the whole time.
Yeah. Yes.
I need to see him now. Now.
So then he tells the guards to bring in the Wraith.
Otto. Meanwhile, the Atlantis teams that went through the gate are making their way to a building. They get to a door and they're about to break in. I did enjoy before Ronan kicks in the door, he does take a moment to spin his gun before he points it. I really enjoyed that.
It's important.
It is very important. You got to spin the gun.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how you wind it up so it works.
Right. Yeah. It won't fire if you don't do that first. Some people think that it's the actual gunpowder that propels the bullet, but no, it's the winding it up by spinning it first. That's what does it.
So they bust in and start their search. They do run into some Janai as they're going and knock them out, or at least they run into one Janai that Ronan says is the caretaker. Then Rodney gets startled by something and just fires his gun like he does.
Yeah.
At least he didn't cover his eyes this time.
Yes. He does have that tendency.
So everyone races to Rodney and he's like, I thought I saw a mouse. It was big.
Why would you fire at a mouse?
More of a rat.
I saw one this morning while I was out walking my puppies, and I did not fire a gun at it because I don't carry a gun when I walk my dogs, nor do I own a gun.
But what if it was possibly a rabid mouse, as McKay says?
I don't think that's a thing. I don't know for sure that they can't carry rabies or be a reservoir for it or catch it, but...
Gun is overkill anyway.
Yes. It was a very tiny mouse. It might have actually even been a vole because it didn't look like it had much of a tail. So it was either a mouse that lost its tail or a vole, but it was very cute.
Aw. My only experience with voles is the sound of one squealing from Oreo's mouth as I could not catch him to get rid out of there.
Oreo is quite the hunter.
He really
My dogs were
is.
startled by it and then kind of ran away from it. They're like, what is that?
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Dogs are great.
Coconut showed a little bit more interest in maybe trying to go after it than Lily did, but then she gave up very quickly when I was like, no, dogs, we're going this way.
Yeah. That would be my preferred full interaction as well. Anyway, after this rabid mouse incident, they conclude that Sheppard is not here and never was. And Rodney says they've wasted 2.5 hours. ... quietly, and a mouse. So I guess he hit the mouse? Do we know?
Apparently. It sounds like he did, or
Yeah.
he thinks he did anyway.
They're gonna go home empty-handed.
They can bring the mouse with
They
them as
could.
their trophy.
Trophy mouse.
Yeah. I can't imagine there's much left with it if they
Right?
shot it with a bullet, a large bullet from a large gun.
Yeah, and I think he fired, like, multiple rounds, too.
Yeah. They didn't necessarily all hit it.
True. But, yeah.
Later on in Weir's office, she's there talking to Layden and getting mad at him for having his intel turn out to be wrong. So he says the only way that he's going to be able to help them then is to return to his own home world and try to mobilize people himself rather than just trying to do this all by FaceTime, essentially. But Weir says to contact them from here. You're not going to go anywhere. So you're going to have to continue FaceTime or whatever it is to try to get your intel. Layden says, do you think I don't know why you're really keeping me here? But Dr. Weir is like, yeah, you're the head of state. We know it is obvious why we're keeping you here. Sheppard's last order was that we not submit to Kolya, so we're keeping you here to make sure that that doesn't happen and also to make sure you don't do any funny business, basically. And also, we don't yield to terrorists, so you're staying here to make sure that they don't get you. She wants him to go over the list of planets again, and once again, she is cut off mid-sentence by Technician, him and his unscheduled off-world activations all the time.
Look at me, I'm Technician. Man, I'm so much better than Poulter. Just kidding, I love Poulter. He's my best friend.
I was going to say, they're best friends. Come on.
We get another exciting chat between Kolya and the people of Atlantis. Weir asks where Sheppard is, and Kolya's like, yeah, glad to see you're right on top of things. Don't want to waste any time. Me either. Cool. There's Sheppard, he shows. And the Wraith is there as well. This one was pretty fun. I didn't notice this the first time, but the second time they very clearly, the Wraith is in this metal glove on his feeding arm, and they unlock it for him this time.
I thought it was weird. Can he really only eat from that one arm, I guess? Because they left his other arm free. And I thought that we saw in a different scene where he was feeding on people with the other arm. And then, I mean, and this is getting a little ahead of us, but I thought that we saw Sheppard free him from his metal glove after he'd already been killing people. But
I don't know if he did it by feeding on them, though. I can't remember.
It looked like it, but I don't know. Anyway.
Huh.
So I thought it was weird that they would only cover one hand, and I didn't understand why he can only eat with one hand.
They only have one hand?
Theoretically.
I don't know.
But yeah, he did have a metal glove.
He did. It was cool, the unleashing of the arm. It was kind of weird, but kind of cool, too. Kolya is like, you turning over Layden, or are we going to feed some more? And Weir says she is not. So he has the Wraith feed on Sheppard again. There is a little bit more staring at one another between the Wraith and Sheppard now that they all know who they are. This time, Sheppard is looking a lot older afterwards.
He is.
Touch of gray, the best of both.
And Kolya tells Weir 3 hours and ends the call. Poor Sheppard.
Mm-hmm. Back down in the cells, the Wraith wants to know where Sheppard's friends are, but Sheppard says that they'll be there eventually. He does still believe that. And they just need a little bit more time. But the Wraith is very much not convinced. He says that no one has ever left this place. He's been here for a very long time, so he's clearly seen a bunch of humans come and go since he's still alive. Probably has been eating them. And the Wraith says that Kolya is going to kill him before his friends are ever going to have the chance to get there. So whether it's the Wraith that kills him or Kolya himself, it's not going to matter. He's not going to be rescued. Sheppard asks how well the Wraith knows the layout of this place. And he doesn't know it all that well, but he says he knows it well enough to know what they're up against if they wanted to try to get out of here. And specifically, Sheppard says to get us out when he's asking about this. So the Wraith is taken aback a bit that Sheppard is talking about trying to team up and get out of here together. Sheppard's like, well, what have we got to lose? Because you're dying in here. I'm dying in here. I know you're the one killing me, technically, granted, but we can get out of here together. We'll have a better shot than trying to get out on our own. When Sheppard asks what he has to lose, the Wraith says, my life is what I have to lose. And Sheppard asks, is it such a great life down here that you're living? That you really want to preserve this one? But the Wraith is not convinced. And he says that, nope, there's no escape. He's already told you that, Sheppard. Then it is sometime later, presumably 3 hours or so later, when a guard is taking Sheppard out of his cell again and telling him to move. And they're taking the Wraith as well.
I liked in this moment, there was enough of a pause with them coming out of the cell that Sheppard's looking over at the Wraith like, we gonna do this? But yeah, there's no time, and the Wraith clearly wasn't picking up what Sheppard was putting down, because then Sheppard gets decked. So, opportunity lost. I just enjoyed it. I thought it was a good scene, even though it was very short. And we're back on the video chat. Kolya is again telling Weir he will let Sheppard go with years ahead of him still, if you just give me Layden. But Weir's like, nope. So Kolya tells him she's effectively ending Sheppard's life. Weir's like, nah, not hearing this. Kolya says to Layden, I wonder what you've told them so that they choose you over Sheppard. And Layden's like, I told them the truth. Which surprises Kolya a little bit. Layden offers Kolya a deal. Let Sheppard go, and he will give Kolya amnesty. Kolya is not interested / doesn't trust or believe Layden. He says he's trained him better than that, and there are things that cannot be undone, whatever those are. They get the Wraith ready again, and Kolya tells the Wraith to take his fill. Gross.
Yes.
So he feeds on Sheppard some more, which it sounds like Kolya meant for him to kill him, but the Wraith stops before Sheppard's dead. And Kolya is like, who told you to stop? I'm the boss. But the Wraith is like, do you really want me to kill him right now? And Kolya seems to relent, and he's like, fine. And they just tell the Wraith to leave. And Kolya tells the Atlantis people now they only have 2 hours till the next feeding. Sheppard's looking really, really old and raggedy. Beckett says if he's fed upon again, he's pretty much dead. He might already be past the point of no return. He also says a large percentage of people that survive partial feedings die anyway, which now it makes me wonder if that general guy who came and took over Atlantis that time and then got fed on and realized that Sheppard was right to kill the T-1000
could have been treated,
or maybe he died, but maybe he died. Like, he went back home, but maybe he just died. I don't know.
Did he? Sheppard killed him.
Oh, I mean, he killed Robert Patrick, but not the second guy.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about the T-1000.
No, I was talking about the guy who was mad at Sheppard for doing that, but then got fed on by the Wraith and realized that Sheppard was right. But then he didn't die, but now I wonder, did he die when he got back to Earth? I don't know. Anyway. Unknowable.
Let's not bicker and argue about who killed who.
So, anyway, things do not look good for Sheppard. Ronan gets up in Layden's face again and tells him if he were half the man Sheppard was, he'd volunteer him to make the trade himself. Layden then asks to go home again. He's like, I can't do anything here, but at home I can question. I'm sure it'll be very neat, nice questioning. I'm sure he doesn't have any pet wraith to torture his own people with. And he can find out who stole the codes and figure out where they are. So maybe let me go. Time to let me go.
Back in the Janai cell, Sheppard wakes up and he's having a lot of trouble moving. He's looking significantly older. I did notice that old man Sheppard has a definite modern-day Harrison Ford vibe going on throughout the rest of this episode.
Yeah, I could see that. Yep.
Yeah, it's partly the hairstyle, I think, but also his whole grumbly kind of voice and attitude. And just some general features. It amused me. Anyway, Sheppard says he could have sworn he was going to wake up dead today, so he's surprised that he is not dead. The Wraith says that he's strong, stronger than any human that he's ever fed upon. Sheppard wants to know why the Wraith stopped himself, and the Wraith says it's because he's going to need at least some strength left if he's going to both live and also escape. So great, Sheppard is glad to hear they're going to be trying to escape together. Back in the gate room, Layden is thanking Dr. Weir for allowing him to go back through the gate to return home so that he can do more stuff to try to help. And he'll be in touch as soon as he's got some information for her. Rodney doesn't think this is a good idea. And Ronan agrees with that. Taylor, though, thinks they might be wrong. She thinks it could be okay. Back in the cell, some guards come to try to get Sheppard and the Wraith, and they start dragging Sheppard out of there. They start dragging the Wraith out of there, and Sheppard pretends to collapse, but then beats up both of the guards when they try to catch him, which I thought he was doing a very good job of beating people up for how advanced his apparent age is supposed to be at this point. He's maintained a surprising amount of muscle strength and coordination despite his advanced age.
Surprise, motherfucker.
It's got that Sheppard vibes running through him.
He does. According to the transcript here, I was not wrong that they sheath the Wraith's feeding arm, but then he manages to feed on them anyway. So I was not imagining things. At least whoever transcribed this saw the same thing that I did. So I thought that was weird. Like, the other guard that is not dead yet and not being fed upon shoots the Wraith several times. Sheppard throws a knife at him from one of the guards that he's currently in the process of choking and gets him right in the chest. So good aim, and that would have to be a very forceful throw. Either that or just get it right exactly between the ribs or something. Either way, impressive shot. Sheppard manages to finally knock this guard out that he's been choking and is able to get the keys, tosses them to the Wraith, and then the Wraith is able to free his hand. And they're going to go.
Yeah, they are. And they do.
Yes.
They've knocked some other guards out. They're grabbing weapons. They grab one of the radios from the Janai. Some more people arrive to fight them. The Wraith gets shot here. Every time the Wraith gets shot, there's like a gross amount of blood that pours out of him.
And yet he's still fine.
Yeah.
'Tis but a scratch.
They fight off these guards. The Wraith says his wounds will heal and ushers Sheppard on to whatever their escape. Kolya later finds these guards and realizes Sheppard and the Wraith are working together. So he orders all the men to go guard the Stargate, or 10 of them anyway, and whoever else is left gets to try to hunt them down. Then we're outside. There is a hatch in the middle of a forest, and out comes Sheppard and the Wraith.
I was wondering if this was filmed in the exact same place where we've seen the hatch from SGC come out.
I was wondering that too. And I didn't check.
Nope, me neither.
Sheppard wants to head for the Stargate. The Wraith is like, it's going to be guarded. And Sheppard's like, yeah, we got guns. The Wraith is like, they're going to be waiting for us. And Sheppard's like, stop being so negative. The Wraith is not in good shape. The gunshots have done a number on him. Sheppard asks if he thinks he's going to make it. And he says he will if he feeds. Sheppard says, don't look at me. The Wraith, I thought, was just trying to steady himself here. But Sheppard takes it as the Wraith is trying to feed on Sheppard, so Sheppard pulls his gun.
Yeah, I was also under the impression that he was just trying to steady himself as he was standing up.
I do get the suspicion, clearly. The Wraith, classically, are not friend of human, so it makes sense. So Sheppard offers a deal. He says, well, when we get to the Stargate together, we will go our separate ways. For now, let's not feed on each other or kill each other. The Wraith agrees, so they continue on.
Back in the control room, Dr. Weir wants to know how long it's been since they last heard from Kolya, and Chuck Nation says it's coming up on 2 hours now, so they should be receiving the next transmission any minute. Then we are back in the forest with Sheppard and the Wraith. Sheppard doesn't think that it was this far to get back to the gate. He was blindfolded, but he at least had a general sense of distance. The Wraith is complaining about the fact that he can't move faster because, again, he's got many holes in him and has lost a lot of blood. So they're going to rest for a few minutes, or at least Sheppard suggests that they rest, but the Wraith tells him to go on without him. And Sheppard doesn't want to do that because the gate's going to be guarded and he's going to need some help getting past all of that. So the Wraith forces his way back up and manages to continue on, but then Sheppard realizes all of a sudden that, you know what, this guy has no idea where the gate is. And the Wraith is like, yep, it's been a long time. I really don't know exactly where it is. He didn't mean to deceive Sheppard, but he also didn't want Sheppard to just kind of leave him behind. So he just kind of pretended he had more information just so that they could stay together, I guess. Over the radio, we hear a guard say that reinforcements have arrived at the gate. And Kolya says to kill the Wraith on sight, but he wants Sheppard alive, so Sheppard is very flattered that Kolya likes him better than he likes the Wraith. But also that probably means they would have not really had any luck getting to the gate anyway, because now there's a whole bunch of guards at that gate. So the Wraith pretty much is ready to give up at this point, but Sheppard says, nope, we don't leave each other behind, and I'm not leaving you behind either. Kolya doesn't know where they are, and he's wasting a lot of manpower searching for them, so while they're doing that, he's confident that his people are going to be working on finding them, and that the odds of being found by the people on Atlantis are just going to keep increasing the longer that they're out here. The Wraith tells Sheppard he is like a Wraith, more so than he knows. Sheppard's not sure that that is a compliment. But the Wraith says there's a lot about the Wraith that you don't know. There's a lot of Wraith in that sentence.
There is.
Those last two sentences.
It's hard because the Wraith does not have a name.
Indeed.
Then we're back in Atlantis. The team and Weir and Beckett are waiting for Kolya to call. He's late, which is unlike him, Taylor says, in the 3 phone calls they've ever had with him.
Rude.
Yeah. They also haven't heard from Layden, Rodney says. And Taylor wonders maybe they were in it together from the start, but that would be a very strange plan. What would be the plan there, Taylor?
Right? Yeah.
But Weir also does not agree that that would be a good plan. Why would Layden come here? Ronan says to throw them off the scent. What scent? This was all put together by Kolya to what? Just show video of him torturing Sheppard? Like, it doesn't make sense. Anyway.
It does not.
Ronan just calls it a Janai plan. So there must be a reason, though, Taylor says that Kolya hasn't contacted them yet. And of course, we know the reason. And Beckett says maybe he knew it would take Sheppard more time to recover than the previous times. And Rodney's like, well, we're not saying what we're all thinking. And Weir says, yeah, no, we're not saying that. Sheppard ain't dead. That's what they're not saying.
Nope.
Sheppard is dead. That's what they're not saying. Yeah. So they're just sitting around waiting. Very exciting scene.
It is, yes. Back in the forest. Guards are still out there searching. Sheppard and the Wraith are still out there hiding. They are listening to the radio communications among the guards, and it sounds like they are concentrating their search primarily around the gate, even though it doesn't seem like Sheppard and the Wraith are probably that close to the gate since they've been wandering in the forest for who knows how long at this point, and who knows in what direction for that matter. The Wraith says, you know what, all of this was worth it if for no other reason than to just see the sky again. So even if they're going to die here, he's still feeling better for having at least tried to escape and gotten outside. But Sheppard's got higher expectations than just seeing the sky and then dying. The Wraith, though, talks about how his wounds are very deep. He needs to feed soon. He's not going to survive these injuries if he doesn't. But Sheppard says, nope, you're going to be fine. We'll figure something out. We're both going to go home and we're both going to live. The Wraith asks what happens if they meet again in the future, and Sheppard tells him, well, all bets are going to be off in that case. But for now, we're in this together and we survive together. So we'll just have to hope that we don't meet again ever in the future. But for now, let's get some sleep. One of us will take watch. I'll take watch even. You go sleep.
Yeah. Rest those holes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how they heal, right? You just rest them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, you just rest them.
On Atlantis, they've finally received another call. Technician says he's getting the Janai IDC and a video feed through the Stargate. And it's Layden! Woo!
Woo! He didn't abandon them.
He did not. He says his interrogation took longer than he'd hoped, but they do know where Kolya's base is, and he is sending along the dialing coordinates. He is so sure he's bringing a full brigade through the gate in about an hour, which will give you hopefully enough time. Weir asks what they'll be up against. Layden doesn't think it will take any more than a cloaked jumper and his good friend Ronan to take care of Kolya. He does ask that they leave Kolya alone so that he can deal with them, but Weir does not promise that. Their communication ends, and Weir's like, all right, let's do this. Cloak jumper, some Marines. Beckett's like, let me add a medical guy to that jumper and we're good. And she says to Ronan, if you find Kolya, and Ronan says no promises, so he would happily kill Kolya.
He would.
And Weir would also be happy about it.
Yeah. Back in the forest, Sheppard and the Wraith are both sleeping, so Sheppard has failed at his job of keeping guard. The soldiers are getting pretty close. They don't see Sheppard and the Wraith yet. The Wraith manages to wake up in time before they get there and warns Sheppard, wakes him up, and then feeds on Sheppard. So if he wasn't awake before, he's certainly awake now, in agony. Probably a very unpleasant way to wake up, I would imagine. Sheppard is now very, very old and almost desiccated looking. It's creepy makeup that they've given him. Some guards get there and they just walk right over and past Sheppard's body, completely ignoring him and continuing to look for the Wraith, who suddenly jumps down from a tree. He's all strong and healthy again, so he's been able to take out the guards very easily, even though they're continuing to fire on him. And he feeds on one, and I would imagine the other one also dies very shortly.
Yeah, that was the kind of creepy scene, too, because he's holding down the two guys and feeding on one while the other's just watching in horror.
Right.
As the other guy is dying.
Yep.
Oh, knowing what's coming
that he's
next.
Likely next.
Yeah.
Right,
Oof.
yeah, exactly.
Oof, oof, oof.
Back in the area of the gate on the planet, the gate activates. There's a bunch of soldiers there, and they're, of course, all at the ready, but a puddle jumper comes through and instantly cloaks. Well, why wouldn't they cloak it first?
No.
It would look like nobody's coming through. They would see like a weird sploop or something, but it just seemed like we've talked about this before. Why do they always wait before they cloak the jumper?
I don't know.
Makes no sense. Inside the jumper, Rodney's flying and Taylor's also up front with him, and there's Ronan and some Marines in the back.
Absolutely badasses.
They're looking at a display in front of them. They've got the facility, the Janai base on their screen, but Rodney says that he's detecting some life signs on the surface, and those life signs are many miles from the bunker that they were initially going to head for. It had been 8, and now it's 4, and now it's just 2. What the hell's going on?
They've seen this before when Ronan was killing all those Wraith.
Yep. So it would seem that the Wraith has, in fact, taken out all of the people, including that last guy who was horrified watching the other guard be fed upon while he's being held down, like we just talked about. One of them they know for sure is Sheppard because he's still got his subcutaneous transmitter on and broadcasting. They don't know who the other one could be. Maybe Kolya, maybe not. Don't really know. But they're going to go and check that out.
In the forest, Sheppard is laying there, and as you said, he looks like hell, old and desiccated. And I actually was looking at the IMDb for this, and there is somebody credited as old Sheppard, and I'm wondering if they had a different actor do this part.
Interesting. It was definitely him before.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very possible. I was actually impressed by how realistic like the old skin neck was in particular.
Yeah.
So that makes sense if this was in fact
and his
not even him.
His belly under his ribs was very concave. Like maybe they needed a very skinny guy for
somebody
that.
much more emaciated than
The Wraith comes over to Sheppard and leans over him. Sheppard tells him to finish it. And the Wraith says, there are many things, as I said, you don't know about the Wraith. And he uses his feeding hand on Sheppard. We don't see immediately because the team is within earshot and they come running toward the Wraith. Guns ready because Ronan's ready to kill that Wraith. But before he can, Sheppard yells Wraith. And the Wraith stands upright and gets out of the way. And it's Sheppard. And he is back to normal. He is not old. He is not emaciated. He's fine.
Just fine. Perfectly fine.
Just fine, which answers the question.
No more Harrison Ford present day.
Do the Wraith vomit? The answer is yes, through their hands. But not only that.
They vomit life.
They vomit life. And their food is back the way it was. When I throw up, my food does not look like it did when it started.
No. That's generally not how digestion works.
But somehow sucking a life force is totally different than just eating a piece of fruit. Whatever. Anyway.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah. Sheppard orders them not to fire on the Wraith, and he does make it an order. I was actually surprised that Ronan didn't just shoot the Wraith while he was still crouched over Sheppard.
Same. Yeah, I definitely expected him to just die.
Yeah.
Or at least be immediately shot, not necessarily die. But
yeah. They are all shocked to see Sheppard looking so good. And Sheppard explains that the Wraith just undid it and tells them to lower their weapons. They're dumbfounded. How is this possible? Taylor asks. Sheppard's like, But the Wraith explains the gift of life they reserve only for their most devout worshippers, and meaningfully looks at Sheppard and says, and our brothers. And Sheppard admits, yes, there is a lot about the Wraith we don't know. He repaid the debt, the Wraith says. Sheppard gave him back his life, and now he's done the same. Rodney's like, he looks younger than he did before, kind of indignant, which was kind of funny.
Yeah, he seems angry and jealous.
Yeah. Ronan asks about Kolya, and so Sheppard pulls out the radio and calls to Kolya, who we see standing in front of the Stargate. That's open. He's about to flee. Yeah. Sheppard's like, I knew you'd run. I'm going to kill you next time. And Kolya just looks a little distressed and leaves. So we will see Kolya probably again, because that's how these things go.
I imagine so. Slightly later, they're all standing in front of the gate and trying to figure out exactly what to do. They don't want to take the Wraith with them, but Sheppard says that they had a deal, and they definitely need to honor it. The Wraith actually says he's surprised. He didn't expect Sheppard to honor the deal as they are discussing what to do with this guy. Ronan hands Sheppard a stunner, and Sheppard shoots him. Ronan is surprised that Sheppard didn't kill him. I didn't really know why, because they had a deal, as the Wraith said. So.
I mean, I think we know Ronan's stance on the Wraith, so...
I know, but you would think that he knows Sheppard well enough to not be surprised that if Sheppard had a deal with somebody, he's going to stand by that deal. But no, he did not kill the Wraith. He just stunned him, and now they're going to get in the jumper and just drop him off somewhere, anywhere. And then he thanks Rodney for showing up as they all get back on the jumper. Sometime later, it is a clearing, and the Wraith wakes up to Sheppard standing over him. I thought it was weird that Sheppard stood there until the Wraith woke up instead of just leaving him, but he didn't. Yeah, and the Wraith is surprised that he is not dead, as Sheppard was before. And Sheppard tells him there's a lot you don't know about humans. The Wraith again asks what happens the next time that they meet, and Sheppard again says that all bets are off. And then we hear a Wraith dart and see it flying overhead. So it is time for Sheppard to go. End of episode.
Yes.
Did you like the episode? You already told me you liked the episode. What did you like about it?
I really liked that there was a new dimension added to the Wraith situation, because it's always just been these Wraith are trying to kill us, they're evil, blah, blah, blah. So it sounds like they're going to explore more the Wraith in general, maybe, which could be interesting. I like, enemies forced to work together for their mutual benefit. I like that kind of thing. I also liked the tension, actually, between the Atlantis people and the Janai and Layden, because it makes so much sense that they don't trust them, because the Janai are just generally untrustworthy people. But at the same time, you were right. It's way better for them to have Layden in charge than Kolya, so they don't want to mess with that. Like, I just thought it was all really good. I mean, we knew somehow Sheppard wasn't going to die, and that he didn't look like an old man for the rest of the series, so something would reverse it. So that's pretty interesting that they've got this Wraith vomit situation that can happen.
Yeah, I'd actually forgotten about that part.
Me too. So I wonder if they'll do more with that in the future. So I thought it set up some interesting stuff. It's obviously set up this frenemies situation with this Wraith now they'll maybe run into again in the future.
Right. I imagine they will.
So I thought it was really good. I thought it was well done. And you're right, the Sheppard makeup was pretty good for old man times.
Yeah.
How about you?
It was all right. It wasn't my favorite episode. I just don't really like the Janai.
Yo, they suck.
Ton.
Yeah.
Exactly, because they suck. But and Kolya in particular sucks the most.
Yes.
So the only thing that brought it down really for me is just every time that he's on, I was like, ugh, I hate him.
And he's still not dead.
Why aren't you dead yet? Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was an interesting dynamic between Sheppard and the Wraith, though. But we've seen them get along with Wraith at various points before, so it would be interesting to see how this turns out. Although in the past, when they've gotten along with the Wraith, it's been Michael who they keep betraying over and over again.
Yeah.
So.
You're never gonna let that go, are you?
In this case, where they haven't repeatedly betrayed the Wraith,
It's true.
it's interesting to see the dynamic that they have.
Yeah.
And also, it's interesting to learn that they can reverse the aging by, vomiting life force back up on people. That's just so weird.
Very, very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not a bad episode. It wasn't, like I said, my favorite just because I hate the Janai and they're just so annoying. But it was a decent episode overall.
Nice. Will the next thing we watch be decent, do we think?
Who knows? I remember the episode. I just don't remember if I particularly liked this one or not. It is season 10, episode 8 of SG1, Memento Mori, according to the booklet, when Vala is kidnapped by Trust members acting under the orders of the Goa'uld Athena. There's still Goa'uld around?
It's not
An
just
accident
Ball.
causes her to lose all memory of who she is and where she came from.
Oh.
I really did not remember that there were any Goa'uld left, so that's a surprise.
Besides Ball, obviously.
Oh, well, yeah, obviously, but I thought all the other ones were gone. And according to TVDB, stricken with amnesia and on the run, Vala takes a job as a waitress as she tries to piece together who she is and what happened to her.
Okay.
Yeah, weird. I do have some vague recollections of it, but nothing too specific about
I'm drawing a blank entirely.
where it goes.
Yeah.
I remember Vala having amnesia and being a waitress and thinking it was just weird while I was watching it. But like I said, I don't remember Athena being in it or the outcome of the episode.
Does she keep
So we'll see.
stealing spoons? Because she's,
Probably.
a thief.
Yeah. I imagine so. Stealing other servers' tips off their tables.
Yeah.
Seems like a thing she'd do.
Yeah. Okay, well,
Yeah.
maybe that'll be fun.
Yeah.
I
Hopefully.
hope so.
Yeah. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Thank you so much for listening to Stargazing with Kathy and Mary. Our fully listener-supported program couldn't be done without you. Show your support by telling everyone you know how awesome this show is. Find us at stargazing.space. Reach us by email, stargazing@gmail.com. Find us on social media at Blue Sky. Get some merch, tinyurl/stargazing. And finally, show your financial support at patreon.com/stargazing. Thank you for traveling through the gate with us. Catch you next time on Stargazing with Kathy and Mary.
I'm Kathy,
I'm Mary.
and you've been listening to Stargazing. The end.
The end. Yes. And also, we don't yield to terrorists. I don't know why I said that way. We don't yield to terrorists.